all. In today's session, we are all going to learn about the presentation of report, how to present a research report in a particular university, in a conferences, or in a particular workshops or seminars. So let's begin with the term, what is exactly the presentation of report is. A report presentation is a verbal and a visual communication of what the researcher find in his study, how he explain the data, narrate the story or tell the story and guide an audience through its key objectives, key information, the facts, so that they can influence the decisions and share the relationships and understanding among the you can say related topic. It also involves a presenter who always reflects the factual information objectively and clearly to the audience. Once the researcher use the visual aids, or you can say the tools or techniques, then definitely the presentation of a report would be more creative, the innovative, which always show up in a form of using the tools like MS Word, PowerPoint or any other slideshow, so that the presentation could be more comprehend and the engagement to the audience. Let's begin with the next section, that is the purpose of the report presentation. So there are four main or five purposes that why the report presentation is actually needed or important in today's scenario. The first reason is information sharing. So what the researcher find out the meaningful information or the facts, then definitely it is very important for the researcher to share to the audience, to the stakeholders, to the interested parties. If any specific project has been prepared by the researcher which is reference to any one organization, so whatever the findings, it could be shared to all the stakeholders or the interested parties. Next one is the decision making, to provide the facts and insights that actually build up a strategies, or you can say the facts which is totally based on the decisions within the particular organization or business. But when we talk about through the presentation, the meaningful decisions could also come forward, and accordingly it will take up for a betterment of the organization or businesses. Next one is engagement. The engagement is all about the audience and how it captures the audience attention and facilitate a dialogue, or you can say show the various questions along with the answer, and how it gives a deep understanding of the reports to the audiences. So it's all about through the presentation or using the tools and techniques of the visual aids, it will more engage, it will more creative, it will more innovative, and keep the readers more attentive to your what you have shown and what they understand from your reports. The next one is the highlighting the achievements. Through the report presentation, it always shows a significant achievement or the progress during a particular project or a period of time. So hence the research report is always consists of a 6 months, 3 months or a year, and through highlighting you can say, or how you presenting the report, that is all about the researcher achievements or the progress during the entire period of a particular project. Next section is the key elements of a report presentation. It should be clear, it should be objective information. So whatever the researcher present in a particular report, the facts or the information, that should be accurate and transparent, using a very simple language which is more understandable to the readers. Next one is a visual aids. Incorporating the slides or charts or tables or graphs or any other visual instrument regarding the complex information, which would be more accessible and engaging to the audience. The next key element is the audience awareness. In order to understand the audience needs and requirements, the researchers always keep up or update the messages in their researches or in their studies more effectively. Next is structured content. It is very important for the researcher to organize the information logically with the set of you can see the objectives, with the introduction, the background that they used, the particular the content you can see, or a body of content of the study, and at last the conclusion, so that they can guide the audience or the readers who are more engaged in you can say listening or reading the report. And the last one is engagement skill. It is very important for a researcher that whatever the presenter speak, it should be clearly listened, it could be clearly use the public conversation skills rather than just oratory or be prepared to answer the questions of the readers or the audiences. So it is very important for the presenter or for the researcher to engage the audience through their presentation skills, through their speaking or conversation skill, which could be more engaging or interesting to the audience. When are report presentation used? So there are various purposes. It could be related to the business, it could be related to the sales, it could be related to the healthcare, it could be related to the academics as well. So when we talk about the business point of view, the presenters always presents their presentations through the PowerPoint or slideshow, so that they can show up their quarterly you can see reviews or any strategic planning sessions regarding the innovation, regarding the development or the growth of the organization. Next one is sales. It is very important that report presentation is also being used in showing up the sales performance data or the strategies to their team members. Next is healthcare. It is also used to share the research findings in the medical conferences or you can say the workshops or the seminars, so that accordingly the presenter could able to engage about their new findings related to the healthcare to the wide audience. The next one is academics. Students should students or the learners should present the research projects to their peers, to their instructors, so that accordingly if there is any further investigations required or any further modification is required, it could be done during that particular time period, so that it could be more engaging or effective. The next section is the communication dimensions. So what are the communication dimensions? So communication dimensions in the presentation is almost plays a very significant role in the particular reports or sharing the facts or information to the audiences. It includes the words, the paraverbal, that what tone or what face it will be used by the presenter, and the non-verbal elements like body language, or you can see the visuals, it should be eye contact, and these elements are being used when a particular presenter used combinedly, effectively, and in order to ensure that what would be the message, it should be understood and impactful to the audience. Key contextual dimensions also shape up the communication more effective. It should also state the purpose, that what would be the purpose of the research which should need to be communicated to the audience, what would be the media should be used, what would be the time period, what would be the physical settings, or that how it could be organized, so that the presenter should communicate more effectively and efficiently. Now we can come up to the next section of that is related to the communication dimensions, that is the three layers of communication. The first one is the verbal, and the second one is a paraverbal, and the last one is a non-verbal. So what exactly the term verbal refers? It refers the actual words which is being chosen or used by the presenter to convey his or her message. There should be a clarity, there should be a conciseness, or the correct grammar should be used, which plays a very significant role for a clear or a effective message to the wide audience. Next one is the paraverbal. This dimension is also include that how the words are spoken, like such as your tone of voice, your volume, your speed, your pauses in during the conversation, and these elements which always add to a quality of the researchers, which mainly you can say focus on the verbal message. Next one is the non-verbal. This element is always focused on the body language, the factual expressions or the gestures, and the use of the visual aids like graphics or the slides, and how it present through these keeping in mind these elements, the presentation to the wide audience. And these elements, especially when we talk about the non-verbal, it enforce the you can say the contradict the verbal message significantly, which definitely influence the audience perception positively. Now we can come up to the next type of dimensions which is related to the communication, that is the contextual dimensions. It also categorized into 5 parts. The first one is the purpose. So the overall goal of the presentation is almost to inform, to convince, or to entertain, the shape, the every aspect of the presentation by which the presenter should show up in a very innovative or a creative manner or an organized manner. Next one is audience. In order to understand the audience background, their education, their cultural norms, it always helps the presenter to shape up the message and the language appropriately. The next one is medium. It also matters of what type of medium should be used during the presentation. It could be in person, it could be visual, or it could be audio only. So it also impacts how the presenter convey his or her message through these particular medium, and whether using such medium the message is actually delivered or received or not. So it is very important at what type of medium you are using, and accordingly you have to follow up the merits and demerits of such medium, and accordingly the messages need to be delivered and received. Next is message content. The facts, the figures, or the examples must be appropriate to use, and it should be relevant to the audience and support the message on which the presenter is willing to convey to the wide audience. Next one is time. The allocated time is also much important, or is very important for the presentation, which influences the depth and the breadth of the content that could be covered by him or her, that is presenter. Next one is the place. The physical or the visual environment in which the presentation takes place, it automatically affects the environment and also impact the audience perception or reception. The next section is why communication dimension matters in business research. The first point is the organizational effectiveness. Effective communication is primary driver of success, because after all the communication plays a very significant role in presenting the report, or in a business meetings, or in the organization or businesses. And by studying these dimensions, researchers is able to identify what works and what doesn't to improve the organizational performances according to the Odisha State Open University. Next one is informed decision making. Research is always work on into a communication because it helps to understand the information, it helps to engage to the wider audience, and accordingly the decisions are to be based on a clear and accurate data. Next one is employee motivation and moral. Studying different you can say dimensions like communication dimensions, we're having a 6 or 7 you can say dimensions which have to be include into the into a research. We can also talk about the 3 layers of communication dimension which also include in our researches. So automatically it direct or indirect impact the communication, the employee morally motivation, and also willingness to contribute to more into our organizational goals. So after all, the employee motivation and the morally you can say plays a very significant role into our communication, or improving our communication, and build up the willingness to contribute or to achieve the organizational goals. Next one is the innovation and collaboration. Research is always sure the business sustainability. So it is also to be built up through an effective communication only, because your communication which totally build up a stakeholder trust you can say within near around the business environment. Next one is the key dimensions to research. The first one is interpersonal and intrapersonal. So analyzing the individual you can see communications with the others or within the organization is essential, that how much they are actually understanding the dynamics which is going on within the organization. Next one is the verbal or non-verbal. Researching the impact of the spoken words, the tone, the volume, the expressions, the gesture, which also reveals that how employees are perceived and interpreted the exact information. Next one is the intracultural and the intercultural. So it is also important to research in such a you can say on cultural norms who belongs to a different countries, or you can say in such a globalized world, researching the cultural differences which automatically affect the communication. After all, the communication or effective communication plays a very effective role across the diverse team who belong to a different culture background, or of course it also ensure the markets which all where the teamwork is always exist in it. Next one is the intra-organizational and inter-organizational. So understanding the communication flow within the organization. So intra-organizational, or you can say, or between the companies or the external entities, which called an inter-organizational, is also significant for the strategies and the operations preparations. Next is channel selection. It is very important to research into a choice of the communication channel. It could be email, it could be meetings or the video conferencing, and ultimately it helps to determine the which channels are more effective for different times, different sort of messages that the presenter is willing to convey, and how it reach up to the wider audience. So this is a practical or a critical thinking question, that how, if you want to describe the major events of your college life to a group of your friends, you make a 3 minutes presentation and ask for your reaction to presentation and their suggestions for improvement on the focus of the presentation theme. List out the suggestions they make to you. So these are the suggestion, these are the theme suggestion or a focus suggestion, that how you prepare your 3 minutes presentation and how you describe your college life in a particular event to your group of your friends. So automatically the first suggestion is to focus on a central theme, because you are working on in an event or on an event, so definitely you have to choose a specific theme in order to describe your college life to your friends. Like for example, that how I learned to be resilient, or the moments that shaped my perspective during my college days. So this is how you have to prepare or focus the central theme which actually relates to your college life. Next suggestion could be highlight the key turning points. It could be you can say a major challenges that you have faced. You have to prepare a points, or you can say which is very important to discuss during an event, or the challenges that you face during the college life where you have overcome from such challenges, and what could be the memorable moments. So you need to give a general overview of your college moments or the memorable moments to your friends in a particular event. You can also focus, these are all suggestions, you can also focus on the lessons you learned. It could be the lessons you learned through your experiences, the lesson that you learned from your peers group, or the lessons that you learned from your teachers. So just frame those events and accordingly just prepare a list and present during the events. The next suggestion could be incorporate humor. So add some funny or the relatable stories or the anecdotes or about the college that you want to make a presentation should be more engaging and the fun for us rather than looks like boring to the audiences. So just try to you can say include some sense of humor which sounds funny, which also have some stories so that they can relate to their life or the college life during their days. So this is something that you can also incorporate in your presentation. Show, don't just tell. You need to show up rather than just sharing the information. So what you are presenting, it always show to the audience, not only show in your words, it show in your gestures and show your facial expressions. So if you are speaking which you are if you don't know, you are actually communicating the information which you are not exactly know in depth. So automatically it shows nervousness on your face. So it is very important that instead of you can say show up into a negative aspect, just show of your positive side, and you don't need to just tell, you have to show through your body language. So because it's in an event, it is very important that stress is a very common expect for every individual, but it is also equally important to describe that what would be the stressful events, what would be the stressful moments that you face during the college life, which automatically you can say the audience could relate to engage with your events or with your moments through your college life. So this is how the suggestions could also be helpful in making your presentation more effective. Now the next section is the presentation package. The presentation package is a type of the softwares the particular presenter used or designed to create and display the information using the visual aids like the images, text, any sort of content, or used audio or the video in a slideshow format. These packages such as the Microsoft PowerPoint enables the users to organize their content, add the animations, images, transition, and create the professional looking presentation for various purposes like business meetings, the education lectures, the educational programs, or the educational purposes as well. So these particular softwares would always be used by the presenter, by the researcher to present their work, their research work to the audience. So this is a sample of the PowerPoint where you can use such software and just prepare the presentations, show your research work to the wider audiences, which should be more engaging and innovative and more presentable and creative for the audiences. Now we can come up to the key function of a presentation package. The first one is when a particular individual is using any presentation package or slideshow or PowerPoint or any other sort of other softwares. So these are the key functions that a particular presenter use during the presentation or in preparing that presentation to show up to the in a particular conferences, meetings, etc. So the first one is text editing and formatting. Such packages is always allow the users to insert and the format text to convey information on slides. So whatever the information that you are willing to show up, then it will be shown on the way of slides. Next is graphical insertion. So it also enables such packages like PowerPoint, slideshow. It always enables the users to add the images, the charts, the graphical elements to slides so that it would be look like more creative, more engaging to the audiences. Next is multimedia support. It facilitates the incorporation of you can say audio and video clips to enrich the presentations. Next one is animation and the transitions. It also provides the various tools to create the motion effects of the transition between the slides to make the presentation more dynamic in nature. Slideshow system. It also helps the enable and the users to display the created slides in a sequence basis to the audiences. Next is templates and theme. It also offers the pre-designed templates or based on the various theme, like it could be business meeting, it could be for the parties, it could be events, any other education events, to create a polished or the professional looking presentation quickly. Now we can come up with what are the common use of the presentation packages. First one is we can also use for the business presentation, for meetings, for reports, for the sale pitches, etc. Next is educational purpose. It also used for the educational purposes in order to create the lectures, the study guides or the quizzes, or you can see the questions, the questionnaires which is relate to the critical thinking. Next one is marketing and sales. It to present the product and services to the potential clients. The next one is the information dissemination. It's all about information sharing. So to organize or present the complex information is a you can say is a task for a presenter to make that complex information in a easy language, so that or in an understandable format to the audience. These are the examples of the presentation packages. The first one is the Microsoft PowerPoint, a widely used business presentation software which offers the word processing, the drawings, the presentation management tools to the users. Next one is the Google Slide, a web-based presentation program that also facilitates the online collaborations, where we can also use the presentations through the various you can say Google Slides as well, or you can say Google Meet. Next one is the Apple Keynote. Apple presentation softwares is also known as it's powerful design tools and animations. Next is Paintbrush. We can also use the images, we can also draw the images according to our imaginations, and that could be also used for our presentation to reach out to the audiences. Next is Macromedia Flash. We can also use one of the software for the presentation. Adobe, you can say Persuasion is also the one of the software. Window Movie Maker, we can also prepare a video of our presentation so that it can easily understand while you are speaking, and the message or the information that you are giving totally reach out to the audience effectively. Oral Presentation is also a software. We can also prepare the presentation, and of course we can also present effectively. Open Office is also the one of the software. Harvard Graphics is also one of the softwares where we can use the all over the world the international images, the creations of images that use relevant to the topic, and accordingly we can use and present in a very effective way. So these are the basically the another softwares where we can use the various you can say images. We can also create the images, we can also collab the images, like you can also heard the Canva where we can use images, we can merge that images and present in our presentation. So the first one is the Prezi. It's known for its dynamic non-linear approach, will allow the user to zoom in or panning across a visual convex for engaging presentation. So it is also the one of the software which has always been used into the visual presentation, more engaging and presentable. Next one is Canva, a graphic design platform or a user-friendly, you can say, drag and drop interface and ideal for creating attractive presentations with many templates. So as we can also, if you want any templates, a new creative templates for your presentation, you can use the Canva as well, which always they have a pre-designed templates, and you can use accordingly or according to the purposes that you are using for, and accordingly you can use, prepare and present to the audience. The next one is the, you can say, Beautiful AI, where the learners or the uses the artificial intelligence tool to help, or you can say the users to create a professional looking presentation with less effort. And the last one is the Visme. It also merged the presentation design or the data visualizations, which allow the user to create the create the infographics alongside presentation. So when you present, you can say the information. So instead of showing the, you can say in a paragraph, you can also create the infographics into a flow chart, and accordingly this tool is always being used to create such you can say infographics and used in the presentation, so that it can be easily understood to the audiences. Next is audio visual aids. So the audio visual aids is always helps the report presentation to be more engaged in terms of hearing or sight, or leading to a better audience comprehension, you can say retention and engagement. Common example of the audio visual could be slides, videos, charts, posters and music. So for use them effectively, it is important to maintain a simple, a clear or a concise design with the large fonts, or you can say use the video aids or the audio that supports your information, that supports your speech, rather than replace it or verify the chosen or appropriate for the audience's size and venue. So it is also important for the presenter to follow or to use such aids, so that the presentation would be more and more creative, innovative and understandable to the audiences. Next is benefits of using audio visual aids. The first one is improved comprehension. So it also helps to present the information through multiple senses. It could be sight and sound, which helps the audience to understand and retain concepts better. Next one is the increased engagement, and this is also the one of the presentation at present that I am giving up, where we are using the audio visual aids, which is more comprehend to the audience, more engaging, having a more clarity towards the concepts of the presentation packages, and how the presenter reinforce you can see the audiences, so that they can better grab the key points from this lecture. So these are the benefits of using the audio visual aids. So it improved the comprehension, it increased the engagement, that the audio visual aids makes the presentation more interesting. We can give a funny critical thinking exercises, we can give a funny examples, and which automatically hold the audience attention. Next one is the clarity. They can make more complex information into a more you can say understandable way, or we can also give a short summary of that information, of that fact, could be more easier to understand and which looks like more concrete to the audiences. Next one is reinforcement. Audio visual aids reinforce the verbal messages, because it allows the audience to follow along and better grasp the key points of the presentation. Next, we can talk about the types of audio visual aids. The audio visual aids, the first is projected, which comes PowerPoint slides, overhead transparency, videos, film strips. The next category is a non-projected. We can also use under this aspect that could be flip charts, posters, diagrams, models, flashcards and handouts. Next category of the such type is the auditory aids. It could be music, it could be sound, it could be recording, it could be spoken words. It's all about sounding. So delivered through a microphone. Multimedia aids, a combination of the visual and auditory elements like interactive presentation or the multimedia software like Corel Draw, Corel presentations. We can also use using the Corel Draw software and the images that we use into a more creative way in our presentation. So that could be an interactive presentation, and the multimedia softwares is to be used in the presentation itself. Let's see what are the principles for the effective use of audio visual aids. The first one is its simplicity and clarity. Using a large readable task or simple graphics, it is more clear and more clear to the audiences. Avoid cluttering the aid with too much information. Next is relevance. It also ensure the aid directly support and relate the whatever the points you are discussing. Next is integration. Integrate the audio visual aids into a presentation. It is very important to which gives you a supplement to your speech and instead of dominating it. Next is appropriateness. Select the aids suitable your audience and the venue. Next is practice. Rehearse with your aids to ensure that they are easily visible, audible, or to avoid any technical issues or glitches. Now these are the common real life audio visual aids which relate to the education and corporate settings. The first one is the presentation. So softwares like presentation, PowerPoint, Google Slides, Apple Keynote are used with a projector or to show the slideshows with tasks, images, embedded audio or visual. The next one is the interactive whiteboards. These touch sensitive display is also connect to the computer or the projector, which always allow the users to draw, to write, and to manipulate the images. And this offers the users a dynamic or the interactive way to conduct the lessons and meetings. The next one is the document, or you can say canvas, a type of projector that display the documents, the 3D objects, the images, the other physical items onto a large screen for a group to see. That is called a document cameras. Next is video conferencing. Platforms like Zoom, Google Meet are also used for remote learning, meetings, interview, transmitting audio, video, etc. for the various participants. Next one is the online learning modules. The self-paced courses on the various platforms like Coursera or the edX uses a combination of the pre-recorded videos of their lectures, the audio clips, the interactive graphics to teach the subject. This is one of the online learning modules where the universities uses the pre-recorded lectures, pre-recorded videos or audio clips so that it will reach to the audience to better understand the subject, the topics related to the course codes or subject. These are the everyday life experiences. The first one of the audio visual aids. The first one is tutorial videos, instructional videos, or the platforms like YouTube or the TikTok is also use a combination of the audio narration or the visual demonstration for the you can say participants. Next is podcast with video. Many podcasts now include you can say video component, allow the listeners to watch the host and the guest in addition to hear them and making the content more engaging. Next one is the product demonstrations. Marketers create a video demonstration to show how the product works related to their features, their you can say qualities, both verbal explanation or the visual footage of the product in action. Next one is the animated stories. We can also use the video cartoon videos for the children's, or animated, you can say any engaging videos or the visuals and the sound to make the content more entertaining and memorable. There is, for example, George in the animated series, a cartoon for those children, so that they can understand and learn the words so that they can use in their daily life. So this is also the another you can say audio visual aids, where the animated stories or the series are mainly made up for the children, so that they can understand more well the everyday words that they use you can say quickly. Now these are the suggestions for preparing of the audio visual aids. Organize the material into a small modules. Do not put more than 7 or 8 lines on transparency. Use a few words as possible. Use a telegraphic style abbreviation or symbols when the audience can understand. Visualize or picture your ideas if possible. Make the pictures and letters bright enough for for you can say to be visible from a distance. Make the letters big and thick enough to be ready by or to be read by all. Use light colors like yellow, light blue, pink for the background, so that audience can easily visible your information. Make the sound material audible, pleasing in tone, varied and synchronized with visuals. And finally, before presenting, check the audibility, visibility and readability of your audio visual materials if possible in the actual place of presentation. The next is presenter pose. Presenter pose is also an art of maintaining a calm, a confident and the compromised demeanor during a presentation. It's all about the presenter pose that they present into a presentation. So when we talk, it is also a form of your graceful self-control, which enables the speakers to manage the stress, the project authority and the connect effectively with their audience. So pose is also you can say combination of the inner self assurance and the outer physical grace. It's all about the presenter personality, how he polished his personality into its presentation, how it make more graceful into a physical mode, and how he gives a self-assurance that during the presentation and how it reached to the audiences. That is something, the term we used here, that is the presenter pose. Why the presenter pose is important? Because it's built the credibility and trust. A confident and the composed speaker is perceived as more knowledgeable and credible. Next is it enhances the audience engagement. A posed you can say speaker commands you can say within and holds the audience attention because it gives into a funny or engaging manner. Manages and the channels you can say nervousness. So it is always, a pose is always helps the presenter to fix up and to reframe the anxiety level or the you can say nervousness level. So instead of letting to show your nervousness, to distract the habits a polished speaker, you can say, turn up their energy into dynamic and the focused delivery. So instead of showing your nervousness, just let up speak up more and more, so that into a polished way and focused on your fact and information, so automatically the nervousness could get away during your presentation. Influences perception. The audience perception of your authority or the competence is totally based on your non-verbal clues. Pose always allow you to project the professionalism. After all, what we are sharing our information or giving any lecture in a very professionalism manner, which is something important or plays a very important role in in presenting your presentation, and self assurance that you are so confident about delivering your knowledge to the wider audiences, even if you are facing an unexpected challenges. Next one is improve resilience. With pose, a speaker can, you can say, receive the information gracefully from and learn, you can say, gracefully from the mistakes or the interruptions. The ability to stay calm and adapt in a face of an unexpected, you can say, situation, which is a hallmark of an expert presenter. Whatever the technical glitches would come, whatever the issues would come, so during the presentation you should be calm, you should be confident and of what you are delivering for. This is the examples of the presenter pose. The composures under the pressure. A presenter should remain calm and you can say unruffled when there is a technical issue. Sometimes it happens the presenters would feel nervous, would feel anxiety when there is a technical issues exist. So it is important, it is a quality of an expert or a expert presenter that you need to be a calm, you need to be unruffled when there is a technical issue, and you just instead of pausing yourself, instead of addressing the problem in front of the audience, let's speak, let's what you are doing, what you are came for, just deliver that information to the audiences without showing them that there is a technical issue. Next is purposeful body language. Instead of you can say fidgeting or the you can say pacing yourself or crossing any sort of argument, speaker should stand tall with the relaxed postures. So they use the confident, the deliberate gestures to focus on points and maintain open and you can say in unveiling their body language. Next one is effective audience connection. They make consistent eye contact is very important with the audiences, because when they have any questions, so you can able to answers through the eye contact, or you can easily understand what in advance that what the exactly the respondent would able to would put up a question. So it always respond the questions thoughtfully rather than defensively. Authentic and the engaging presence. The presenter personality should always plays a very significant role in a natural settings to the audiences. Their energy is always matches their content, whether it would be humorous or the serious. Next is controlled vocal delivery. A poised speaker varies their you can say peers group, their tone, their face to keep up the audience engaged. They use strategies, they pauses to allow the key points and just stick with that. And speaking into a hurried manner, it could be a disadvantage or which disqualify to become an expert presenter. Common posture mistakes to avoid: the slouch. So dropping shoulders, curved spine signal is disinterest in your own content. So if you don't seem engaged, why should your audience be? The next one is rock. Standing completely rigid makes you appear nervous and unapproachable. So just be natural, just controlled movements, whatever, which always show in your confidence, that helps to maintain the audience attention. The fignators, playing with pens or adjusting clothing or jungling the keys, create a distracting noise and suggest the anxiety about your material. It shows that you don't know anything. You just create a disturbance, and you can say which show your anxiety and nervousness in your presentation. Now gathering, so the last suggestion that the particular presenter do is all about the gathering and applying feedback. So it's a practice. It's a practice of a presenter to get the feedback, a specific feedback from the audience, and the category would be related to the body language. Did your poster project confidence? So these sort of questions to be asked in case of gathering the feedback from the audiences. Its vocal delivery relate to the you can say, was your place appropriate? Does your voice modelization enhance or detract from your messages? And the next category to ask the feedback in this aspect, that is engagement. Did you maintain a good eye contact? Did your factual expressions match your content? So this is something that that feedback is also equivalent, so that in the upcoming presentation it would be improved. Overall impression. Would they trust you to present important findings to a senior leadership? Use these feedback to refine your presentation style incrementally, and small adjustments in post automatically create a dramatic improvement in the overall presentation effectiveness. So that's what I already told, that these feedback is very essential for a presenter to improve their you can say overall impression in their next presentations. Next is quality of a good presenter. The first one is subject mastery. It possesses a very deep knowledge of the topic to answer the questions of the audiences. Next one is purpose driven. It also focuses on a defined learning outcomes and deliver a message that is clear and impactful. Through research, act as a diligent researcher to establish the credibility and tailor the presentation to the audiences. Based on communication and delivery, it should be clear speaking. So what you speak should be very clear in voice, simple language is to be used. Next is conciseness. Convey your points, you can say clearly, avoid unnecessary technical words or filler words. Next is engaging tone. Brings positive energy and passion to the presentation to captivate the audiences. Effective non-verbal cues. Use eye contact is very important. Appropriate gestures is also equally relevant, and open body language which easily connect with the audiences. Strategic pauses. Use pauses effectively to focus important points to allow the audience reflection. Based on audience engagement, audience understanding, it research and understand the audience needs and interest to tailor the message accordingly and create a connection. Active listening. This is also the one of the quality of the good presenter, that it should be he or she should be a good listener. Engage with the audience to actively listen the questions and accordingly respond the question peacefully. Authenticity, present in a genuine way that foster trust and connection with the listeners. Next is interactivity, create a two-way conversation by encouraging the participation and interaction. Based on professionalism and adaptability, it's all about confidence. Project self-assurance is very much equivalent to deliver your lecture, to have a strong presence during your presentation. Adaptability, be able to think on their feet, or you can say pivot, and adjust the presentation as needful based on the audience reactions. So that's very important. So if what would be the audience reactions during the presentation, that also seems or looks as a feedback of your presentation. Time management, effectively organize and manage the allotted time for the presentation. It could be 10 minutes presentation, it could be a half an hour presentation, it could be a 1 hour presentation. Accordingly, you have to organize all the information collectively, effectively during the presentation to deliver for. Next is self-awareness. Understand their own strength and weakness and be open to constructive criticism. So whatever the criticisms comes in your way, accept it, whether it would be a strength or weakness, and work on it so that it could be more better or effective presentation in the next session. So thank you all for listening this lecture. I will come up to a more and more interesting topics or relevant or important topics in the upcoming session. Till time, thank you and namaste to all.